chief lawyer for the state in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. Held that position 5.5 years. We led the country defending the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. We brought together a coalition of states defending the federal ban on partial birth abortions, and we won 5-4. We are one justice away from a radical 5-justice liberal majority that will strike down every restriction on abortion across the country and mandate unlimited abortion on demand. You know, Phil talked about the 10 Commandments. In Texas, we defended the 10 Commandments monument on the state capitol grounds. We went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and we won 5-4. We are one liberal justice away from the Supreme Court mandating that the 10 Commandments be taken down from every courthouse, every city hall, every public park all across this country. Justice Scalia's most significant opinion was Heller versus District of Columbia. I know Heller well because I represented 31 states in the Heller case defending the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms, and we won 5-4. We are one liberal justice away from the Second Amendment being written out of the Bill of Rights altogether. The biggest case of my tenure as Solicitor General was a case called Medellin versus Texas. Medellin began with a horrible crime in Houston. 2 teenage girls were horribly assaulted and murdered by a gang. One of those gang members, Jose Ernesto Medellin, was an illegal alien who had murdered those 2 little girls. The case took a very strange turn when the World Court, the judicial arm of the United Nations, issued an order to the United States to reopen the convictions of 51 murderers. First time in history a foreign court had tried to bind the U.S. justice system. Texas stood up, and we fought the World Court and the United Nations. I argued this case twice in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. On the other side was the World Court, the United Nations, 90 foreign nations, and the President of the United States. And I'm sorry to tell you that president was not Barack Obama. It was George W. Bush. Now listen, George W. Bush is a good man. Heidi and I actually met on the Bush campaign in 2000. We were one of 8 marriages came out of that campaign. So as I like to say, whatever else anyone says about George W. Bush, in our house, he will always be a uniter and not a divider.